So I'm harvesting a lot of perennial kale cuttings. Taunton Deane's the variety that I'm harvesting today. So I thought I'd show you the process of harvesting those, and I'm sending them out to members of my channel. So how I package those up, and then I'll show you some examples of cuttings at various stages of growth, from new ones that I took about a month ago to ones that I did last year to more mature plants. These are the perennial kale plants that I've got in the back garden, and one of the things I really love about them is that they're so amenable to taking cuttings and planting them. So every shoot like this is a potential cutting, and so these plants are absolutely full of harvestable leaves, but also harvestable cuttings. And I've got this plant as well. This is my oldest living one, and I can't reach it now to harvest it, so it has to come out, and so all it's good for now is harvesting a lot of cuttings, which I'm going to send out to members of my channel. If you want to become a member, then details are in the description of this video. So there we go. So now I'm going to work my way through and just take as many cuttings off this as I can. Now some of these are pretty big, but anyway, let me start snipping away and then I'll show you some of the cuttings. So you'll start with something like this, lots of good eating on these leaves, and you want to end up with something like this, and maybe even that leaf is too much, but that's what I'm going to send out. 2 cuttings like that. I'm just going to drop them in water. So there's the debris for me to clear up later, and I've just got a bucket full to process now. So there's some sample cuttings. Some of these, for example, these leaves, you will probably find you need to cut them off and just leave the smaller one. But it kind of depends on how quickly they take. So these just need pushing into just standard potting compost and well watering, and they need to be kept in a shady place with no slugs around, because the slugs absolutely love these. And if you were taking a cutting to plant immediately, you'd want something like that one, but because mine are going in the post, I'll be taking that leaf off and just leaving those little leaves there, because you're going to lose too much moisture from that big leaf whilst it's in the postal system. But if you're planting it straight away, that's fine. And then if you see that leaf start to die back or go floppy, just snip it off. But it depends on how quickly the cutting takes as to whether that leaf will get enough sustenance from the bare stem. So the way I send these out is I wrap them in moist kitchen roll, and then I wrap the kitchen roll in cling film, and I just leave the top leaves exposed because they're going to go in these cut up Amazon packets. Now when you receive these, they will not look like this. They will look all wilted and horrible. So pop them in some water for about an hour, not much longer than that I don't think, and then pop them in some compost. As I said, potting compost doesn't need to be too nutrient rich. So I've done 20 packages. I've put 2 cuttings in most of them. Some of them have got 3 if I thought some of them looked a little bit dodgy, and that's all I can do right now because I've run out of this old Amazon packaging. I will do more batches through the year, but for now that's it. And this is not a money making scheme for me, so I don't charge anything for it. I don't charge for the postage. It's just a thank you for members of the channel, and membership is through the Buy My Coffee site, details below. doesn't cost anything. If you can't afford to be a member, then just send me an email and I'll give you a gift membership, and that entitles you to be added to the queue for these, as well as all the other benefits of being a member, of which there are not that many. Mainly, the membership scheme is just a way to give back and have a bit of influence over the direction of the channel and the books and the apps and all the other resources that are coming in the future. So here's a typical one just being planted. In fact, I planted that one yesterday, and that's one that I took in October. So you can see it's not much further on really than one that I took in March. So they're pretty vigorous once they get going. And that is actually next to one that's 2 or 3 years old now, and it's kind of needs replacing. So I will just cut this one off at the base here, let the roots rot in the ground. They'll feed this one while it's growing, and I do like to do that. I don't like to leave them for beyond about 3 years because they do just get a bit unwieldy. This is what that plant that I just showed you will look like a year on. So you can see it's grown substantially. There's plenty of good harvest on this now, and yeah, so it's a pretty useful plant. It only takes 1 year to get to good harvest size. Here's some of those October cuttings that I actually planted out a little bit earlier. They're a bit rough because they've been through a lot of frosts, but they will really pick up very quickly. And I actually got these planted as annuals, so I'll just be harvesting these leaves over the period May and early June, and then I'll just take these plants out and take cuttings off them again and start the whole process again. So they're quite a flexible plant, I think. So I hope you like this quick video. I do have other perennial kales other than Taunton Deane. I've got Daubenton's as well. I don't rate it as much. I will be taking some cuttings of that, and I'll talk about that plant when I do that. Anyway, my name's Steve. This is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.